So it looks like the James Harden Clippers situation has been re-engaged, or should I say the Clippers and 76ers situation, potential proposal trade has been re-engaged. The talks have, resurfaced because both teams might actually be coming to more of an agreement based upon what's going to be given and what's going to be, received and what's going to be shipped out, basically, I'm saying, basically a trade, of course. So in this situation here, it's very peculiar because we know this for sure. The Clippers have more assets to give away, but the 76ers have the leverage in regards to what you're looking for is what the 76ers have. And the 76ers want a lot of what the Clippers have in regards to their depth. But the Clippers are, on the, trying to hold back a little bit because they don't want to give up too much of their depth, because that would make them possibly a very top heavy team if they got James Harden and depleted damn near all their bench and all their role players, their good role players for him, or most of them. It'll just make them a very top-heavy team, which we've seen teams like that not win championships on many occasions. I mean, LeBron said it years ago on Cleveland. We top heavy as hell. We need some good reserves. We need some good guys off the bench who can come in and supply productive minutes. So when we sit down and we're pulled out the game to get some rest, we don't have to worry about, being up 10 points and the superstars come back in the game. Now you're down 10 points. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have good role players. And that's the situation with the Clippers in regards to the 76ers. The 76ers will give up James Harden, but at a price might be a little too steep for the Clippers to pay is the issue. And the Clippers, I think the reason why everything has resurfaced, which is making this whole situation complicated, as you heard me speak about this on a couple videos before, which you can go and check that out as well. It's just a situation where, like I said, both sides are not meeting each other's quota, because the Clippers want James Harden, but at the same time, the 76ers want the assets and everything and the depth that you have on your team to make them full-rounded or well-rounded and much better. And that's something that the Clippers, I think, personally shouldn't do. Now, one thing I'm going to add to this situation that a lot of people might not be speaking about, nobody talks to Kawhi Leonard except the people close to him and the interviewers and all these type things. All these type people speak to him. He doesn't, conform to the media like they want him to. But the one thing I want to say is the fact that he's not talking on this situation, that means other people, it speaks for Kawhi. And like I said before, that could be a gift and a curse for Kawhi, people speaking for him rather than him speaking for himself. But at the same time, this could be a situation where they're kind of holding back on the James Harden thing, because I'm not exactly sure that Kawhi Leonard is okay with that. I mean, I know the reports have came out. Some people have said, Kawhi and PG said they're okay with James Harden, joining the team. But those are reports. You didn't hear, you didn't hear Kawhi himself. You might have heard Paul George say something. Paul George is always going to say the right thing. He seems like a real good laid-back guy, real good dude, laid-back guy. He seemed like he's all about being professional and things like that, which, we respect that about Paul George, which is the reason why he's one of the most liked, star players in the league. But at the same time, sometimes the truth needs to be said. And I just don't know, my personal opinion on what I've said before. I stand beside what I say in saying I don't know if James Harden is the key or the recipe that's going to make them or help them win a championship. Now, of course, most people would look at it like, okay, well, getting James Harden can't be a bad thing, because if Kawhi and PG go out, they still got James Harden and Russell Westbrook to kind of keep the offense and everything flowing the way it's supposed to be. If those two happen to go out again, you still got 2 star caliber type players who can win games if the main 2 is out. So they'd be like a big 4. And I definitely see your point from that standpoint, because that definitely makes sense. And that definitely is something that could possibly happen, especially with all the injuries that the Clippers have had between their 2 stars. Having 2 more star caliber players wouldn't hurt. And Russell Westbrook, which they already have him signed up, locked up, and, getting James Harden, and it would just be a tough matchup for anybody to go against that, especially if all of them are healthy. I mean, good gracious, I don't know if the Denver Nuggets have enough to stop that type of offense. I mean, those four together would really, do some damage to the NBA if they're all healthy, and if they can keep and if they make this happen where the Clippers still have a decent enough bench, they would be, definitely clearly one of the favorites to win it if health is on their side. But of course, we got to see that happen. But like I said before, I don't think people should rule out the fact of Kawhi Leonard, talking to the front office and things like that, because I don't know if Kawhi is 100% on board with a lot of this stuff. I think he kind of accepted the Russell Westbrook situation, because we all know from the reports from before that he didn't want to sign Russell Westbrook. He didn't want Russell as a teammate. He wanted Paul George. He picked Paul George over Russell Westbrook to be his teammate on the Clippers, where he possibly, of course, could have picked, Russell Westbrook, because it was reported that Russ reached out to Kawhi's camp and all that stuff, and nothing materialized from it. But still, he ended up, going along with that, I think, just for the sake of the team. And that's what I kind of feel about Kawhi Leonard. I feel like he's going along with all this stuff for the sake of the team, because he do want to win for this team, but it's just so hard because he can't stay healthy, and others, Paul George can't stay healthy, and then others can't stay healthy. And, Ty Lue has a little bit of Doc Rivers in him with his coaching, so that doesn't help as well. But, it's all type of variables with this team in this situation. So I do understand that. But, Kawhi is the main star on the team, and his opinion matters. And I definitely think there is some holdup and some drawback, because Kawhi, might not be 100% comfortable with, James Harden, because I feel like Kawhi might always have looked at James Harden as not a winner, which most people, or a lot of people, believed as well. He's a good player, but winning mentality, he doesn't have that. And really, the team they have now is really good enough to win it all, if you ask me. It's just the fact that they got to stay healthy enough to do it. They don't really need to add nobody to their roster to make them exponentially better. And James Harden's not going to make them that much better, because he's not the superstar he once was anyway. So, I mean, he can help the team, add to him, but he's not going to put him over the top, I don't believe, because he's not the James Harden he was in Houston. So if he's not even that, and even when he was in Houston, he wasn't a winner anyway. He couldn't win no championship. He never been to a finals, I think, on Houston. I think he'd been one with OKC with, Russ and KD. But that was when he was coming off the bench and sixth man, but he never went to a finals, in Houston, or never got them anywhere. He never was able to, be big in the big games. Why would you add him to, a team like this ready, built for a championship, and he's not a big game person? He doesn't show up in the games that he needs to in the playoffs, and he chokes. You see what I'm talking about? It's a waste of time to add somebody like that. So, you never know. I just feel like Kawhi, is one of those, one of the guys that might be speaking behind closed doors, that's altering the decision, or making the Clippers rethink their decision of going after James Harden, which is the reason why talks had to be re-engaged where they are now, because maybe, on the Clipper side, they got things in order and they really figured out this is the way we want to go, this direction we want to go, and this we want to do. So it could be a situation like that. And that's what I really truly believe at this point, which is the reason why the talks got re-engaged. So we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised either way if James Harden doesn't find his way to LA, or if he's fine, or if he stays in Philly. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. But at this point, I just want to see how it plays out, because if he's going to come, to LA, I just want to know how much LA is willing to part ways with their depth just to go after him. Because, I mean, if they do too much, I just don't think it's going to work out. If they give away too much for James Harden. But we'll see what happens either way. Leave any comments in the comment section, and we'll talk about it.